They bout to look at the shit that I'm on, why don't we get in topic? Crew looking like Pentatonics, locked in, recording in tropics. In the East Bay 3, big Bronzy B, way good, he working on optics. Thought biz while smoking exotics, we lit, never thought about it. Just they bout to look at the shit that I'm on, why don't we get in topics? Sitting way back, all black, I'm talking, feeling like Shaq, I weigh my options. In the East Bay 3, big Bronzy B, way good, he working on optics. Thought biz while smoking exotics, it's saucy, all the projects, it's saucy.
Yo, what's good? RCR Presents MSD Sports. We at episode 7. What's goody, guys? My name is YBK, also Sam, and we got Mikey, and we got Camden, and let's go! Mikey, introduce yourself. Mikey, introduce yourself.
Yo. What's goody, y'all? It's Michael John, MJ from the Bean, representing the 02135, and it is 2025. So happy New Year's to everybody. Wishing a year full of blessings and hoping that y'all enjoy the journey and the ride as MSD Sports continues off into the horizon. So let's get it.
Yes, sir. Camden, what's up?
What's poppin', guys? It's good to see you. It's good to be here. You know what it is. It's 2025. It's your boy, Mr. Club Paradise, a.k.a. Camden Lee. And it's great to be. It's episode 7. It's been a minute. It took us almost a year before we got back to a new episode. This was 2024 when we started. Now it's 2025. So I'm just happy to be here with my bros. You know what it is. We got our jerseys on. You know, we celebrating that new year, new time. You know what I'm saying? I got my joint on too. But we just wishing you guys a happy new year and a happy holidays. And I can't wait to get this episode started because we got a lot to talk about.
Yes, sir. MSD wants to say Happy New Year to all you guys, and hopefully, and really hope all y'all New Year's resolutions come true. Let's get it, guys. Should we go back to business, everybody?
Listen, let them know.
Let's go. So in episode 7, we have a lot to talk about. We're going deep dive in NFL. We got playoff games coming up. Big decisions. Last week of NFL, week 18, Saquon Barkley 2K. NFL takeaways, deep dives on these playoff teams, and we can never forget about the NFL awards, everybody. Let's get it. Let's go. Start us off, everybody. Start us off.
Oh, man. Can you guys believe we are in the final week of the NFL season?
Wow.
We have so many games that are in terms of decision making, but right now we're going to start with the NFC because you know your boy loves the NFC. First off, in the playoff chase, is getting close. We got the Atlanta Falcons. We got the Tampa Bay Bucks. We also got the Denver Broncos, the Miami Dolphins, and the Bengals are getting close. But what I really want to talk about is the Atlanta Falcons and Tampa Bay. I mean, come on, guys. We got Penix Jr. coming out, whipping, gunslinging, first 2 starts, getting some wins. I mean, Atlanta looks like moving on from Kirk Cousins was a really smart idea, especially, statue Kirk. But, I'm just really excited about this game coming up this weekend. I really feel like Atlanta is a young dynamite team that's really can step up these next couple of weeks. I don't really feel like they're going to do a lot of damage in the playoffs if they make it, but I'm really, really excited. And in my other guys who I think are just going to shake up the NFC, we have the Tampa Bay Bucks. Mike Evans has been on a tear, and I understand it's just him with my boy Baker, but when I tell you both of these guys have been cooking like nobody's business, it is unbelievable. The real question is Mike Evans going to get his 5 catches, 85 yards, and 2 touchdowns to get his $3 million bonus that is going to be popping off? I'm really, really excited about that. But guys, what are we thinking about this NFC playoff race? What are we thinking about this big game, Detroit and Minnesota coming up? Mikey, talk to me.
Well, let's kick it off. We'll start with Atlanta because I heard Atlanta and Tampa Bay coming up first. So, hey, you got to give Tampa Bay the credit here because Tampa Bay's got the power in their hands. You win and you're in. So first, Baker Mayfield, big respect because that boy was counted out, I feel like, for a hot minute when he jumped around from Carolina and then jumped to the Rams, had a couple good starts with the Rams to end that. You remember at the end of the year? And all of a sudden, second year in a row leading a playoff team, a playoff race here. Tampa Bay has New Orleans, so it looks like Tampa Bay is going to the playoffs, guys. I mean, I would say it's almost a lock. What are y'all thinking on that? Because New Orleans is cooked.
I'm feeling pretty good. Feeling pretty good. Sam, what about you?
I'm
What do you
feeling
think?
pretty good too. I feel like it's New Orleans. Yeah, I feel like they got the edge for sure. They
Yeah,
definitely going. They definitely have the upper hand.
Do we
yeah.
think Mike Evans is going to get this incentive? This is the real $3 million, 5 catches, 85 yards, 2 touchdowns. What are we thinking, Mikey? You're a fantasy guru for $3 million. You think
Ooh.
he's about to do it? 3 million,
5 catches, 85 yards. That's it.
85 yards, 2 touchdowns. That's it. And he gets
He needs two.
Two
He needs two
touchdowns.
touchdowns as well.
two
That's
touchdowns
the
as well
hard
to
part.
get 3 million. I think it's the 5 catches is like 250. The 85 yards is
It's
500.
like split up. Okay.
And then I think the 2 touchdowns like kind of add on that extra brick and a half.
You know what? He's gonna get the 85. You know why? Because he's got 10 seasons with 1,000 yards. The last time he ain't had 1,000 yards was high school. I've seen that graphic all around social media. So you know that Baker wants to air the ball out and no Godwin. So I would say yes. And the Saints have not been. The secondary has been beat. Like they're not. Come on, didn't they not just lose to the Raiders?
I think so.
Yeah, Jacoby Myers and Brock Bowers looking like Randy Moss and Gronkowski. Yeah, I'm gonna say yes that Mike Evans will get the 5 catches for sure. He'll get the 5 catches. I feel like the 85 yards. I would go to say yes. I think he's sitting on 60 catches, 915. Yeah,
Yep, 915.
65 catches, 915 yards right
Yeah.
now. Yeah, the averages say that he'll get it. I will stamp that as a yes.
Okay. Sam, what are we thinking?
I mean, 10 years of consecutive 1,000 yards, receiving yards in your careers. You know, stats prove himself, you know. So I feel like the 2 touchdowns are a little steep. You know, it's pretty tough to get these touchdowns for these guys. Even he has 11 right now in his whole year this year. So receptions and yards for sure. 100%. Give it to him, because come on. Yeah, you can't just let him break that, you know. You have to let it continue. So, but the 2 touchdowns definitely going to be tough.
Let me pitch a scenario here. Let's say New Orleans lights out and Rattler lights it up and Tampa Bay loses. I still think actually I don't know what the point spread is, but I'm guessing Carolina's a slight underdog. And I honestly am gonna hit Carolina this week.
Oh,
I think that
wow.
Bryce Young has been trying to play better, and I actually think that Carolina has been a tough beat the last few weeks. I will give credit. I know you said like Penix has been pretty good. When they brought him in against the Giants, it was the perfect game to play because the Giants are the Giants, right?
Right.
So like I feel like that's like a different I feel like that was like a different story. And then you got the Commanders. It's a great game to play. That's a tough team, a really, really good team, and they won in overtime as well. It was a close game, so I give him credit for that. But the Panthers have played pretty close games. They did get waxed by the Buccaneers. But the Bucks are playing for playoffs, right? Atlanta's playing for playoffs, but I know the Panthers are playing for pride at this point, right?
Yeah.
And I think Bryce Young deserves some credit for getting benched and handling it like a pro and trying to play with more poise. So I think that's an upset of the week to watch. Like even if Tampa Bay loses, I'm not so sure Atlanta's going to win this game.
Yeah, Penix Jr. just doesn't. To me, I mean, don't get me wrong. I did say he's been playing well. I am a little nervous with a motivated Bryce Young. Like Adam Thielen, I think had like over 8 catches and 95 yards last week. And I think we've been talking about Adam Thielen this entire podcast this season, where his resurgence as a 34-year-old wide receiver with Bryce Young, they have great chemistry. And especially with a Penix Jr., who's only on his 3rd full start, I do feel like it could be a little bit of a slow start to kind of get going, and then once it's kind of that tight windows, especially in the 4th quarter, you know, the Panthers have the ability to score in the 4th. They might drop a ball or two, but they have the ability to score. So we'll see. And like you said, I would be watching that game definitely in terms of Atlanta losing, because it is an up in the air.
Yeah, I feel like the Bucks. I mean, not the Bucks. What am I saying? The Falcons definitely have Bijan Robinson. I feel like as their weapon, like their core piece. But like, yeah, I feel like the Panthers have. I feel like the Panthers are gonna beat them. Even with Bijan, I don't think they can beat the Panthers here compared to the situation we have with the Bucks.
It's true.
Looks like another Tampa Bay trip to the postseason. Your Eagles better watch out.
That's what I'm saying.
Tampa Bay can really mess up some playoff hopes and some playoff dreams this year if they make it in. They're an explosive team. Bucky Irving has really been doing a resurgence and taking over that number one role as a running back. Baker, listen, he got paid a little bit. He's really been showing. I'm really about that life. I think him and Sam Darnold are probably one of the best quarterbacks in the NFC right now in terms of being consistent. But yeah, we'll see who makes the playoffs. I really think if Atlanta makes the playoffs, they're not going to do much. That it just is what it is. I think it'd just be a great momentum year and a good type of situation to really thrust them into next year. But I'm really hoping Tampa Bay goes and does something. I don't want them to mess with our Eagles, which we'll be talking about a little later this episode. But, we'll see what happens. One game that I am really, really looking forward to is Broncos versus Chiefs. The Broncos need to win in order to be in the playoffs. Is Carson Wentz going to be able to deliver a nail in the coffin for the Denver Broncos? Sam, talk to me. Are we thinking Carson Wentz? I know when you hear his name, it is like Voldemort, but talk to me. What are we thinking?
No, I feel like he's gonna fail again and again. There's no hope, guys. Carson is gonna get destroyed by the Broncos.
Hates this man.
Oh man, but I feel like Carson himself is gonna fail as points, as stats himself and his stats. But the Chiefs are gonna find a way to win, as we always talked about in this podcast. They're gonna beat the Broncos, but Carson ain't gonna perform. The team somehow is gonna make him win. That's what it is. That's my prediction.
Okay.
What about you, Mikey?
I'm going to outline really quick what the odds look like right now, just so that you can have some context. The Broncos are minus 550. They're a 10.5 point favorite, right? Chiefs are plus 400. The Chiefs are resting every starter because the Chiefs are the number one seed. They have 15 wins, and the Bills have 13. So the Chiefs are the number one seed. It's done. Does that mean that they can't win? I'm not saying that they can't win, but I would probably say that in a low scoring game, I see the Broncos maybe pulling a 20-14 type dub this game. But I wouldn't be surprised if there's a drive at the end of the game for the Chiefs to win the game, right? Chiefs have the ball. It is in Denver. So Denver almost beat the Chiefs. Remember, they doinked from a 35-yarder, and they should have won that game. So I think they have this game circled, and it's been 2 games in a row, 2 tough games for the Broncos where they could have punched playoff seeding if they won either of the last 2 games.
That's true.
This is the game for Sean Payton to show why he's kind of like a quarterback guru. Maybe it didn't work with Russell Wilson, but Russell Wilson isn't Bo Nix. Bo Nix is a younger, a little bit stronger, and obviously a better passer than we've given him credit. I am going to say Broncos are going to pull this one out. Yeah, they're not covering that 10.5 point spread, in my opinion, though.
Okay. Okay. I can see that. I could definitely see. I mean, Bo Nix has been great. I think all year, I think he's just been a fantasy sleeper, parlay sleeper, everything. I think he's came out of nowhere, and I think Sean Payton has done a really, really great job. My only concern is that the Chiefs are the Chiefs, and most of these second string guys and even some of the third string guys have been playing decent minutes throughout the year and decent snaps throughout the year. So it's not like it's going to be just some walkover with second year guys or second string guys who haven't played. So that's why I think at least it's going to be somewhat competitive. But I do think against the ones, Courtland Sutton, 85 yards. He's also going to get 500,000. Just want to throw that out there. So he, you know what I mean? Playing for incentives and things like that. I think Denver might be able to do so. I just don't trust the running game, and just to be with the Chiefs knowing that you're going to throw all day, you might be all right. You know what I'm saying?
Let me throw you this, because you know how we said we don't, even if Atlanta squeaks in, we don't think they'd win, but Tampa Bay has a better chance. Out of the AFC West, right? Out of the Chiefs, the Broncos, and the Chargers, the theoretical matchup is if Denver wins, they're playing in Buffalo. do they stand a chance against Buffalo? And if the seeding stays the same, do the Chargers stand a chance to beat Baltimore if Baltimore beats the Browns? Do any of the AFC West teams have a chance of catching a dub here?
I think if they were playing against the Chiefs in that first round, I think it would be more realistic. I do think Baltimore, unless Lamar Jackson crumbles like he has always done in the postseason, I don't see it happening with a decent run game. And then on top of that, with the Chargers, I just I don't know, bro. It's hard for me to kind of see Herbert really pulling it out. Don't get me wrong, he beats the teams that he needs to beat. I just don't see him like taking it over the edge. And when it comes to Superman and Mr. Jackson, I feel like these guys single-handedly are just so much better quarterbacks than all of these guys combined that it's really hard for me to pick against them. Do you know what I mean? Your boy Josh Allen has been like phenomenal when I tell you, and Mr. Action Jackson is looking like Michael out there, swimming, dancing, making money, going crazy.
Buffalo has a better chance of beating Denver. Sam, do you think that if Los Angeles Chargers play the Baltimore Ravens, that Jim Harbaugh in his first year back in the NFL has a chance of defeating his brother John? Because Jim has lost to John every time they've played as brothers,
Wait,
as
what?
NFL
So
coaches.
no way.
Yep,
They
bro.
played this year too.
Flashback to Colin Kaepernick in the Super Bowl versus the Joe Flacco's Baltimore Ravens.
Oh
That's Jim Harbaugh
wow.
versus John Harbaugh brothers. I mean, do you think that Herbert has a chance of going into Baltimore and pulling a dub out?
Yes, I think I do. I agree. I agree with David where Baltimore has crumbled in playoffs, and what David said, Herbert wins the games when he has to. I feel like they going in there taking him in the playoff first round if they verse them in the first round.
It's a tough matchup. I will
Tough,
say,
but
remember the last time the Chargers were in the playoffs that they blew a 24-point lead or 23-point lead or 24-point lead to the Jacksonville Jaguars when the Jaguars went on that run
right. I think
a couple
I
years ago.
think I
So
remember
just
that.
like a remembrance that I have.
That was a Stanley coach team though. That was a very different mindset of team for sure. Stanley was definitely not my guy. He had some cojones, but just didn't know when to put him away. Just was just oh yeah. I tell you,
Definitely this squad though with the addition of Dobbins too.
yeah.
Um, yeah, I feel like they could take on Baltimore in this playoffs. Anyone's game, you know. Record don't mean anything right here, right now.
It's true.
It's who's going to perform.
Two young guys who have been forming, and we talk about guys who are possibly getting in the playoffs and doing some damage. Two teams or two quarterbacks we really thought were really going to be doing something this year. We have the Miami Dolphins versus the New York Jets, and when I say Tua and Aaron Rodgers have underdelivered all year, I believe that that's an understatement. Aaron more so because Tua had this injury in terms of the concussion. But guys, like, is Aaron Rodgers out? Is this his last snap? Talk to me.
It very well might be.
You thinking?
Didn't look good this year.
Nope.
Didn't look good to me.
Nope.
Every game that I seen the Jets play, except for that one game versus the Texans. That was the only game that I saw where Aaron Rodgers looked like he had some fight left in him. I mean, you've seen him joking with Pat McAfee about getting released by a teenager and based off Madden ratings, right? And you know what? It looks like he should hang it up. It's not like a Brady situation where Brady was like, let me get one more year out of it or two more, like, let me come back. Like, I'm going to retire and come back. Brady still played well and still went to the playoffs, at
Mm,
least.
mm.
This is an embarrassment. This division is not getting any easier. And I think it's time to hang it up. As far as Tua goes, Tua's always hurt. He didn't play last week and they won no problem versus the Browns, but he's not playing this week. He's unlikely to play this week. So the Dolphins are a long shot to get in. So, I mean, yeah, disappointing years on both sides, more so for Aaron Rodgers, who at one point people said was the GOAT, and now think about that argument.
I mean, adding on to what Mikey said about disappointment, you bring your boy Devontae Adams too, and then show this. You know what I mean? Like nothing. You have weapons too, stars, but 4-12 does not. You know, and I really agree with, I do agree with Mikey said about Brady too. Like he led his team to the playoffs.
Yeah.
This guy didn't even get close. Like, I think it's time to hang it up.
Yeah. I mean, it's tough. I mean, Aaron Rodgers was that guy. I'm not gonna lie. He was that guy, but we really start to think about that Super Bowl and really start to think about, did he inherit a great defense? Did he have a lot of veteran weapons that really was able to take him and leverage him in a better way? You know, we never know. You know what I mean? When we think about all these MVPs that he's had over his career, you know, he was sensational. He's had numbers in terms of touchdown to interception rates that men can only dream of. But I'm just a little concerned that when we really break down his legacy 10 years from now, you know, don't get me wrong, the plays were great, the numbers were awesome,
Yep.
but in terms of a legacy and being a top quarterback, especially if one of these guys, like we're going to be talking about later, you know, really ascends in the next 3 to 5 years, Aaron Rodgers, I mean, I'm not a Jets fan, but I'm sad.
He's went down a few steps, right? I'm gonna read some numbers to you. I want you to tell me what this sounds like, right?
Okay.
62% completion percentage, 19 touchdown passes, 6 interceptions, 87.4 QB rating.
Zach Wilson.
Well, do you know who that is? Who I just told you? That's Caleb Williams. And Caleb Williams
wow.
now has the record for most completion or most pass attempts without an interception. He just broke CJ Stroud's. But something that's similar to Aaron Rodgers and Caleb Williams is like both of their teams have 4 wins all year. So it's like you're right that Aaron Rodgers will kind of go down for like the intercept touchdown to interception ratio. But the thing is, it doesn't really matter if you're not winning games because like Caleb Williams is right now on that sort of path too. But it's like it's sad to see it from someone. I will say we have to remember that he also had an Achilles rupture last year, and he's what
Right.
40.
Yeah.
So it's like, what can we expect from him? But it does kind of like it sucks to see for someone who at one point could have been a multiple Super Bowl winner. That's what we were expecting, and then always losing to San Francisco in the playoffs or the Cardinals. So.
Tough, man. It's tough. I mean, I'm obviously Aaron Rodgers will always be Aaron Rodgers, but yeah, I think it's a difficult way to go out, especially when, you know, you have the Bradys and the Mannings, you know, they're going out, you know what I mean, with wins or with at least with a playoff chance. So
The toughest part is that your team that you left, that you played with all those years, is succeeding without you.
Yeah.
I think that might be the toughest part, right? Like seeing your old team and your successor succeed, because Jordan Love has been very efficient, and you can see that the success of the Green Bay Packers, right?
I feel
Even
like-
as a 7th seed, they're 11 wins and 5 losses. It's like a great year still. So
I feel like an athlete should know when to hang up the cape too. You know what I'm saying? Like, of course, there's anomalies. Like you know, Tom Brady winning at like that age, but you have to know when. I feel like there's like a Korean saying where it's like, the celebrity or star has to know when it's like time to go when you're clapping at you type kind of like phrase where, you know, it's like what you said, Mikey. Like imagine he just left in 2022 after that season, saying I'm hanging it up, you know, and just end it there. Now he's gonna kind of like go leave this NFL scene of just like a failure and kind of going. So yeah.
if you're another team that needs a quarterback, are you giving Aaron Rodgers like a 1-year, 10 milli deal if he's willing to take that? What do you?
what team am I? Who am I?
The
Ooh.
Tennessee Titans? I don't know. Who do they
Oh,
have?
I'll
Will
take-
Levis and
I'd give Sam Darnold back before then. I'd take Teddy Bridgewater before then. He just came off the couch.
Teddy.
I'd take a few other brothers before I take that. I mean, I don't know. I think, to me, Aaron Rodgers is just at a point right now, especially being invested in, or how he was not invested with the New York Jets this past offseason. To me, I just think he doesn't take it seriously. And I think what Sam was talking about a little bit earlier, like knowing when to hang it up, I think it's when you wake up during the offseason and you're supposed to be working out and you don't. or when you're supposed to say, you know what, I'm not going to have this extra indulgence, but you do. Instead of being really diligent and being like, hey, like, I'm still trying to make this happen. I'm saying, now, granted, there are stars who do that. I'm not sitting here saying that they don't, but I think when that repeated action, which that's the only thing that we can go by as observers, is, hey, he didn't show up to training camp on time. Hey, he was on this retreat doing this thing. Hey, he wasn't throwing with his boys in the offseason or even whenever at all. Like, these are the facts. So the fact that you're having one of your wide receivers be disgruntled, the fact that your team is trash, the fact that at the end of the day the media hates you, you kind of threw that on yourself.
Yes, you did.
You know.
Yeah, tough.
So,
There's one more game that has the big playoff implications because both teams have playoff implications here from the AFC. Pittsburgh and Cincinnati are playing tomorrow.
Huge
It's a
game.
Saturday game.
Yep, Saturday game.
Yeah, Saturday night game. So Cincinnati's the favorite here, slightly. They're a 2-point favorite here. So very, very slight, minus 132. So very, very slight favorites
Cincy's
here.
the favorite.
Yeah.
Oh,
and
they're
Cincy's
away
the favorite.
though. Wow.
Yeah.
Snap.
Cincy's the favorite, though. I mean, it makes sense in a way because looking at Pittsburgh already having punched a wild card spot, and Cincy needs to win and then get a little bit of luck with Miami and Denver both losing.
Gotcha.
Um,
Wow. They have to really
It's
have
a
to be
far
lucky.
cry from where Cincinnati was at, though. I mean, they must be kicking themselves, though, real hard in the behind because, I mean, losing to the Patriots in the season opener 16-10, losing that shootout game versus the Commanders, losing the shootout versus the Ravens, being up 10 in the fourth. Like, they must be really kicking themselves in the behind because they would be a dangerous team. Their defense is trash, right? But their offense is incredibly explosive. And Burrow is an absolute beast, and Jamar Chase is an absolute beast, too. I think this is a close game. I do see Cincinnati winning this in probably like a convincing fashion. It's only -2 for Cincinnati. I'm feeling like they're covering that point spread. I'm seeing like a touchdown win, winning by a touchdown for Cincy.
I can see that. I mean, listen, Jamar Chase is on his way for the Triple Crown. My man's going crazy. T. Higgins might be playing his last game for the Bengals.
Yeah.
Joe Burrow has been Joe Burrow. You know what I mean? We were talking about earlier this year, is Joe Burrow elite? I'm eating my hat a little bit currently because the boys are looking a little crazy. And I think my boy Michael Drawn, you know what I mean? He said put a little money that the Bengals might make the playoffs. I'm just saying, if he didn't pay attention and he didn't do that, that's on you because my man was right. That's all I got to say. Anywho, no, I'm telling you, my man was right.
It's true.
It's true. Can't be mad at your boy.
I agree.
You can't be mad at your boy. The boy called it. So I'm really excited. I'm really hoping that Cincinnati gets in there. I think just for the sport of the NFL being in the playoffs, I think it'd just be fun. Like, I think Cincinnati's one of those teams where if they played the Kansas City Chiefs, Kansas City could lose. It's very highly possible.
Wow.
I want to see explosion. I want to see some fun. Now, do I have some money on the Kansas City Chiefs winning the Super Bowl? Of course I do. But doesn't mean I don't want an exciting playoffs and I don't want this easy Cinderella story. I want something fun. So let's see what Cincinnati can do. I think Pittsburgh is at a place where they're just, I don't think they have enough firepower at the end of the day. So I'm really excited for this game. T. Higgins, 85 yards and a touchdown. I'm just throwing that out there. I'm just throwing that out there.
I feel like this game is very unique because, yes, the Steelers made the playoffs, but won't you want the division? So there's something to fight for on that side. But as we said, these Bengals, explosive offense, and I did not know this man Jamar Chase is going for a triple crown right now. He is leading the league in all categories. That's nuts. It's going to be an electric game tomorrow. We'll find out in the North on who's going to take it because the Ravens play tomorrow as well.
I'm saying Saturday night.
It's going to be lit. It's going to be lit.
Listen, Joe Burrow might look like Jon Snow in this month.
Jon Snow.
Yeah, it's a tough one. You're right, Sam, that it is for the Steelers because they could still win the division.
Yeah.
They do have something to play for. It must suck knowing that the Ravens are a 20-point favorite. Like, it must be like, you must think in the back of your head, God damn, they're a 20-point favorite over the Browns. But there's been crazy upsets before, just not this time.
Yeah,
They're better off putting Jameis in there. Come on. I'd rather have the guy sticking his fingers down his mouth talking about eating dubs than Dorian Thompson Robinson. I'm sorry, whatever. Like,
I agree.
because that boy look, and then I don't know if you've seen his like the post game conference, like trying to like make sense of some of the decision making in the game. Like, it's like, brother, you guys are sad, very, very, very sad. And you know what? They should have kept Baker Mayfield.
Oh my gosh. Imagine what the Browns would look like if they kept Baker and didn't sign Deshaun. With Njoku, I mean, don't get me wrong, Chubb is hurt, that's fine, whatever. But Njoku, Judy, you got some dogs over there. Myles Garrett. You know, the only thing that I'm really sad about with the Browns, to be honest, is Myles Garrett. The man has been killing it, doing an amazing job, and he might not play for the Browns next season. So it's a big game to watch. But yeah, I think King Henry needs a touchdown to get another incentive. Listen, I'm giving out free money today. So if y'all don't listen before the game starts tomorrow, that is on you. King Henry needs one more touchdown for another incentive. Bet your bottom dollar on that. But yeah, guys, it's gonna be a bloodbath. I think Baltimore routes the Browns, so should be chilling.
It's gonna be crazy tomorrow.
There's one more game that has huge playoff implications.
The biggest game of the week, Mikey. Talk to us. The biggest game of the week.
Is this the biggest game of the week, or is this the biggest game of the year? Like,
maybe.
is this legitimately
the whole NFL?
Yeah, I mean, could this be the biggest game of the year right now? I am shocked at how every week we've been like, wow, Minnesota has surprised us again. Wow, Minnesota has. I shouldn't be shocked no more, but I just am like, after years of like reveling in the pathetic nature of Sam Darnold and the Jets, I am just eating crow. Like, I mean, this guy has been incredible. So obviously the game of the week that we refer to is the Detroit Lions playing the Minnesota Vikings, not only for stakes of winning the NFC North, but for the NFC's number one seed in the lone first round bye and home field advantage. Come on, set the stage. I'm gonna let Sam. Your team is in the NFC. You got to set the stage for me right now. Come on with this game, bro.
I'm gonna say some crazy things right now. I'm saying Minnesota Vikings, everybody, are gonna beat them Lions at their home turf. Let's go, Sam Darnold, everybody. We talking about this whole podcast. He's been lighting it up, and that's the reason why they're there. And he has weapons. He has weapons. He got the men. He got the firepower, everybody.
Is this the game that everybody speaks about where Sam Darnold gets one of the biggest bags that we've seen in a minute? Because I'm really looking at this game and saying, if you beat Detroit and get the number one seed, right? You was talking about bringing the Brinks truck back, Mikey. Listen, that might be 2 trucks, maybe 3.
2 truck? Damn.
2 trucks, bro. Like, come on, we
You're
didn't think
right,
Minnesota would be a number one seed. We did not think listen, no one thought Minnesota was gonna be a number one seed. We thought they maybe make the playoffs. We thought they might go 9-7, but we never thought this boy was gonna do what he's doing. This boy going crazy. Shout out to Sam Darnold. I'm keeping him if I'm Minnesota. If he wins this game, I'm keeping him.
Yeah, is JJ McCarthy getting shopped? Like, would you shop him or you keep him as a backup? Like, what do you? Because for me, this has been a year of like the passing has been tougher this year. All QB stats across the whole league are down. So it used to be like 5,000 yard passing was the new norm, right? But right now, Sam Darnold is 4th in the league with 4,153 yards, and Goff is 2nd in the league with 4,398. We got to put some respect on Goff too, because I'm a quickly run you. So Goff is at a 71.7 completion percentage. That's nasty. But 4,400 yards, 36 tutties, 10 interceptions. So we need to put some respect on Jared Goff for one. But Sam Darnold obviously deserves respect after his career trajectory so far. And in my opinion, we'll get to this later. We'll have to talk about comeback player of the year, but Darnold has had an incredible year for that. 4,100 yards, 35 tutties, 12 interceptions. So the question is, which team can make the clutch play? Because in the first game they played, what was it? 31-29. I need to look it up real quick right now. Because they played earlier this year, and it was an amazing game. Very, very, very close. But the Lions barely pulled that out.
It was a shootout.
But going back to what you said about comeback, I know we're going to talk about it later, but man, he's coming off from San Fran, playing 10 games. He didn't even start all of them. He only threw 297 yards. And now he's like the guy for the Vikings right now. So he's been lighting it up, guys.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting. We'll definitely talk about that a little bit more in depth. But I think the NFL needs to change some of the rules when it comes to the comeback player of the year. I think that would just, in terms of this situation, I really believe that. But guys, I mean, Jared Goff has a lot of weapons. It's looking like the Avengers over there. And even before, when he was just acquiring, like kind of getting these guys, he was still elite. My only concern is the picks. Jared Goff throws a lot of picks. Not a lot in terms of, he throws 20 or so, but he throws them when they matter. He throws them when it's 3rd and 4, and he's up 3 in the 4th quarter. It's ridiculous. And so the question is, can Sam Darnold really take that extra step and really be elite? And if he does and beats this Detroit defense that's a little banged up, we'll see. We'll see what's going on.
It's going to be crazy on Sunday. Oh, my God.
Goff threw 5 picks versus the Texans, and they still won. You remember that?
That's what I'm saying.
But since that game, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 games. 1 pick over 7 games. 1 pick to, 20 touchdowns?
Yep.
So, I mean, but Minnesota's on a 9-game winning streak right here.
Yes, they are.
This is a real, I think this could be like a real legacy-defining game if the winning team goes on to get to the Super Bowl and win the Super Bowl especially. But if you can even make it to the Super Bowl, that 1 week off is huge because there's only one bye now, right? You know what I mean? One team gets a bye. So this is huge. This is huge. I'm gonna put in my pick right now.
Okay.
As much as I love the Vikings, my heart is telling me I want the Vikings to win, but that the Lions are gonna somehow figure out a way to even in the last game that they played, right? In the 4th quarter of the last game, it was 2 field goals, a 36-yard fumble recovery return touchdown, and then they didn't get that 2-point conversion, the Vikings, and then the Lions had like a 5-minute drive to get a game-winning field goal. And I just feel like they're that sort of, they've just got that in them. This year and last year, the Lions have it in them.
Dog in them.
Yeah, just that winning nature. But I'm rooting for the Vikings for sure. I mean, I don't know how I've come to this position to say I'm rooting for the Vikings, but I'm rooting for the Vikings.
See what happens, man. I'm excited. Should be a big game. Should be a big
huge game, bro.
Listen, one guy that Sam is extremely familiar with that got that dog in him. Can you please let us know what is going down with our boy? Talk to us.
Everybody. If you guys missed it, we'll catch you up right now. Mr. Barkley, the Saquon Barkley, has reached 2K, baby. We talking 2K, baby. 2K. Saquon 2K, they say. Make a jersey. Come on, guys. Make a jersey, guys. He's going to be resting Week 18, unfortunately, because everyone's, we already hit the division. Everyone's resting. But, man, he only needed, 102 to beat Dickerson's 2106 yards, NFL #1 record. But guys, this is greatness. And before we dive deep, I saw a video where AJ Brown goes after he hit 2K. He goes to Saquon, greatness, greatness, and then Saquon goes, I'm playing in it. He goes along the lines of, he goes like, nah, it's because I'm playing in it. And I'm like, wow, this guy Saquon, this man has been he's been inspirational. He's been just explosive. This offense has been crazy, guys. You guys got to talk to me about this offense Saquon has been outputting for these Philadelphia Eagles.
I mean, listen, I think the biggest thing that I'm extremely excited about is that the offensive line wanted the 2K. That was like one of the biggest things that I've seen. The offensive line was like, listen, we really want to take this on. We really feel like we want to get Saquon this record. And I've heard, inside scoop, the offensive line's a little pissed off that they're not able to get this Eric Dickerson record. I mean, Saquon has been undeniable when it comes to the Philadelphia Eagles. Game changer. I think, Mikey, you showed me a clip about, the GM and one of the kids saying, are you really going to let Saquon go and keep, like, this is your legacy? And, you know what I mean? Listen, that kid might be a GM one day because he knew something that we all knew. Saquon is that guy. So, am I upset that he's not going to be able to get this record? Most definitely. I think it's one of those things. To the common man, I think when we're old and gray, we'll be talking about Saquon and being only 101 yards away and being like, yo, he would have easily gotten 130 or 140 or 150.
The Giants, too.
You know what I mean? But I think we'll never know. So It just is what it is. One thing that I think is a big, big, big factor. I think if Jalen didn't have that concussion a couple weeks ago, I think we'd be talking about a different type of story. I really do. He's been out the last couple games. He had a concussion about 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
I think, 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And passed concussion protocol, no problem. And then ended up having one snap, hit his head, and has been out for the last couple games. So, I mean, I'm a little worried about him, so I think that's the biggest reason why they're resting him. But other than that, Saquon 2K. I'm telling you, that boy is unbelievable. His Madden rating better be a 99 next year.
Better be.
Cop that.
Better be.
I think in the context of not having any seeding to play for, like for me, it's understandable that they're not going for like a record because we see like teams all the time decide to rest their players. So like for me personally, I don't disagree with the decision. I do think that the whole argument about, I've heard a lot of people, it's like, oh, well, Eric Dickerson did it in 16 games. Eric Dickerson did it in 16 games. Like I've seen, this is what people have said over and over and over and over, right? And so if you look at the lists of best rushing seasons of all time, it's without a doubt that O.J. Simpson had the greatest season rushing of all time. O.J. Simpson's the only 2,000-yard rusher to have to do it in 14 games. Not only that, O.J. Simpson did it in the least amount of carries, in 332 carries. So, yeah, Eric Dickerson has the record in 16 games, but Eric Dickerson carried the ball 34 more times than Saquon Barkley did right now. So you got to put some respect on Saquon here, right? Like you really do have to put some respect on it. It doesn't matter. Like 2,000 is the threshold. It's greatness. He should undoubtedly be the offensive player of the year and perhaps even MVP. That's a harder discussion because they don't like to award it to running backs. I'm not sure the last running back who won it. Was it Adrian Peterson when he ran for 2,000? I think that's the last time.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I got massive respect for Saquon Barkley. That boy runs with tree trunks. So, sheesh, you put like a muscular Groot on the field, and that boy is just tearing it up. But like David said, the offensive line deserves a lot of respect. And actually the Eagles front office, because some of those offensive linemen are well groomed and have been there for a long time, like Lane Johnson. And then you have Jordan Mailata, who was one of those European transplants, right? The New Zealand transplant. So you got to give some credit to the front office for helping that come together and for putting up a big bag for a position that teams don't like putting up a big bag for. Guaranteed money, a lot of guaranteed money for a running back going into a 30, getting close to 30. So, hey, let him get his rest, and they better win that first playoff game. You best win that first playoff game. I'm not saying you have to win the Super Bowl, but like you best win that first playoff game.
For real.
I agree. I mean, what do you guys think? If the Eagles, I mean, we already made it. You know, I'm looking like what, second, third seed, right?
Right.
What do you guys think? How far these birdies got, in your opinion? Because you know me, I'm just gonna go. We're going straight to the bowl, but in y'all's opinions, what about these birdies? Good defensive upgrades they got during these past years, including this year with the draft. But yeah, what do you guys think about their playoff chances here?
I mean, Philly's a dangerous team. I think they have a great coach. Sirianni has a huge chip on his shoulder, especially with earlier this season and talks of being fired. Just from, inside, outside, everywhere in between. I think with Jalen and the AJ Brown thing, also again another fuel for the fire. So they have bulletin board material, especially with Saquon not getting this record. Definitely bulletin board material. So they do have, I think, in my opinion, an ability to really shake up this NFC. Obviously, Detroit, Minnesota, they're going to be playing this weekend. We're really going to see if Detroit's defense has been able to withstand all these injuries, because Philly's offense, again, is explosive. I think they have one of the best wide receiver duos in the game. I also think they have the best running back in the game. So we'll see what their defense can do, but I really see Philly possibly getting on a streak and really doing some damage. I would not be surprised if they're in the Super Bowl. I really wouldn't.
I like that.
I think that Philadelphia has the hardest first round matchup. They'll be hosting the Green Bay Packers. That's what's going to happen.
So basically, like right now, Minnesota's 14-2, Detroit 14-2, Philly 13-3. Let's say we beat the Giants, right? With our secondary team, we'd be 14-3. Let's say Minnesota wins. They're 15-2. Detroit is 14-3. So, but we're still third seed then, right? Because Detroit has the higher upper tiebreaker.
Yes, exactly.
So yeah, then
you guys' seeding is basically locked. You're going to be you would be stuck at that. I think you would be at what, the second seed?
Yeah.
You'd be stuck at the second seed because you're going to be your division winner, right?
Gotcha,
So
okay.
It doesn't matter if you lost the head-to-head versus the team, because the division winners get precedence over the wild card.
Okay.
So even if you have a better record, it doesn't matter. So
it'll be Green Bay.
I'm going to tell you all my prediction right now. Y'all remember?
Let's get it.
When the Tampa Bay Buccaneers won the Super Bowl, they lost to the New Orleans Saints twice that year. And I think the Minnesota Vikings are going to lose twice to the Detroit Lions. And they're going to make a playoff run as the wild card, and they're going to get that third matchup, and they're going to win that third matchup.
Wow.
And that's what I think Minnesota is going to happen. I think for Philly, they have the hardest first round, but they would have a beneficial second round game because you'd be left with the highest seed left. Right. So if you beat the Green Bay Packers, say theoretically the Rams can take out the Commanders.
Yep.
That's a great second round matchup, bro. If I'm Philly, I'd love to see the Rams the second round versus Green Bay the first round. That's a tough matchup, in my opinion. I would much rather see that. Say Washington beats the Rams, and Tampa Bay can upset Minnesota, then you'll have Tampa Bay coming to town.
Yep.
So I actually think that Philadelphia is in a good spot, whereas if Detroit's going to get the lowest seed if they end up with the first seed, and vice versa for Minnesota.
Right.
So the lowest seed will either be like you're screwed because like what, you're going to play a cocky, confident Jaden Daniels, or you're going to play Minnesota or Detroit. Like, I think Philadelphia has a good shot here, but honestly, I'm not going to lie, Sam. I don't like the matchup of Green Bay going into Philadelphia. I really don't like this matchup for Philly. I'm nervous for you. I'm really nervous for you.
It is a hard first round, but easy second for sure on this one.
Real.
we have to remember the run that Green Bay went on last year and how close they were of going to the NFC
It's true. To that,
conference championship,
yep. Yep.
right?
It's going to be interesting, guys. I mean, the NFC really is a huge, huge conference. And I think with all the teams being so close, this weekend's really going to tell who's the big dog in the house. So when we look at, our other conference, which is the AFC, I mean, my big dogs is chilling. You feel me? My Kansas City Chiefs, they relaxing. You feel me? But what's the deal? So I'm just a little confused, Mikey. Who's in? Who's out? If we're in, do we know the situations? Have we it boiled down?
Yeah, Kansas City's the only things that we're waiting to see here is for AFC. We only have Denver and Miami and Cincinnati in the who aren't confirmed. The 6 through 1 seeds are already the seeding can vary, but those 6 teams are in. Okay. If Denver wins, they're in. If Denver loses and Miami wins, Miami's in. If Denver and Miami both lose and Cincinnati wins, then Cincinnati's in.
Yep.
If they all lose, then the seeding stays the same as is right now with all of them, and Denver would get that. Denver would be in.
So Denver will verse Buffalo.
Yeah.
At Buffalo.
Exactly.
Gotcha.
So that's pretty much it. And then on the NFC, we know all of the playoff teams at this point. We just need to see seeding.
Seeding now, yeah.
Yeah. So it's pretty. We're pretty solidified in here. So now it's just we're gonna have to. We see how these games go tomorrow. NFC or AFC North will be decided by tomorrow night at 11 p.m. The division could be decided by like 7:30, 8 p.m. So we'll see how it goes, right?
I mean, we going. I gotta remind you guys on one thing. I don't know if it changed or not, but are we still going for our Super Bowl predictions, guys? I got you guys listed as, of course, Sam's gonna go for the Eagles, but I got Mikey as the Bills, and I got David as the Chiefs. 3-peat. Is that still? We're still going with that?
I'm still locked in. I'm still locked in the mug. You know what I'm saying? I'm still with for the 3-peat. 3-peat.
I'm gonna go Bills versus Vikings right now.
Ooh,
I'm gonna say Bills Vikings because that's what I want to see.
That would be a crazy matchup.
Want to see right now. When the Vikings actually had a great year though, a couple years ago, they lost to the Giants in the first round. So I'm not sure how well that bodes for me, but I'm gonna say Bills versus Vikings for Super Bowl, and I will still stick with Bills because I've been, a man of my word. When I make my initial prediction, I'm gonna stick with it, even if I want to change my gut.
All right, David, what you got your matchup as your Super Bowl matchup?
Listen, it's gonna be the Kansas City Chiefs and the Philadelphia Eagles. If the Eagles sneak this out and sneak that first game, it's gonna be 2K versus 3-peat. So that's what I'm thinking.
I got 2K. The same matchup. I got the same matchup as you, bro. Eagles, Chiefs too. Let's get it.
As I'm thinking, right. I'm really believing that my boys, my Patrick Mahomes, he gonna take it home. My homeboy. You already know what it is.
If that's a rematch, bro, if they rematch, the Eagles are winning this time. No, without a doubt to me. If there's a rematch of the Eagles and Chiefs, I'm hammering the Eagles.
All right. I'm thinking it's gonna be an easy cakewalk. I'm gonna be celebrating my cake in the first half.
Damn.
But, that's just me.
Damn.
Y'all make it. Y'all might make it there, Sam. But I don't stop doing nothing.
I'm ready for it. I'm ready, guys.
All right, y'all better be ready.
Sam, I know you had some thoughts about some big names too. That was kind of going into this offseason as we come to the end of the year.
Yes, coming down to the wire. I feel like we all know. We talked about the Cincinnati Bengals for a little bit, but our boy T. Higgins now is going to be a free agent this year, guys. I feel like he's going to look for a record-breaking contract. I don't know who his agent is. I don't know how that works in kind of like in that football hot stove, but T. Higgins is going to be valued pretty high in a lot of teams, guys, as a wide receiver 1, in my opinion.
How much you thinking?
How much did I say last time? Did I say like 30 to 33? I think like pretty high up in my opinion. He wants to be
33, you think at 33
I feel like he wants to be that wide receiver 1 position in a team. No, you don't think? How much did I say?
He's not getting that. He's not getting that, bro. I mean, he could be a wide receiver 1 on a team that doesn't have like a wide receiver 1, but like Can you remind me, what is CD Lamb's? Let's see. Let me just look it up real
So
quick.
he got
CeeDee
paid
Lamb's.
$21 million this year from the Bengals.
See,
Okay.
Franchise
I mean, no,
tag.
T Higgins did. T Higgins.
T.
on
Higgins.
his-
T.
on his
Higgins,
franchise.
21 million.
He got
Okay.
franchise tag. CD's getting like 40.
No, CD has a 4-year, $136 million contract, and he's got $100 million guaranteed. No, $67 million guaranteed. So T. Higgins is not on that level. Like, I'm just gonna quickly tell you that, like, even T. Higgins' best year is 74 receptions and 1,091 receiving yards and 6 tutties. This year is the most touchdowns he's ever had in a season. But let's just show, right? Last week that boy went for 11 catches, 131 yards, and 3 touchdowns. He did have 1 fumble, but 3 tutties. So he's trying to end with on a good note. But 69 catches, 858 yards. In my opinion, with Burrow throwing the ball, of course T. Higgins looks nice. But if I'm like the New England Patriots, like who really need someone to be like a wide receiver 1, I might go 3 years, 60 million with like 35 million guaranteed or 30 million guaranteed, but I'm not paying more than that for T. Higgins. I'm sorry. That's just what my gut's saying right now.
I think Higgins is getting at least 100 million, bro. At least 100 million.
Really?
Because CD got 138 or 130, something like that. This man at least gonna crack like 96. Like, I'm not saying he's cracking 130. I don't think he's doing all that. But don't be surprised if he has a 96 with a 40 or $50 million signing bonus.
I mean, T. Higgins is like only 20. He's only 25.
Bro,
He's prime.
Bro.
This is prime.
But
he might even get 60. He might even get 60 million.
I feel like 30, 33
hold on.
30 annually.
Hold on, guys. Let me tell you. Let's compare those numbers that I just gave of T. Higgins, right?
Yeah.
Even with the injuries last year. Let's look at his very best year of all time: 74 catches, 1,091 yards, 6 touchdowns. Right. I'm gonna tell you what CD Lamb's was last year before the contract extension.
Okay.
135 receptions, 1,749 yards, and 12 touchdowns. I'm sorry, like there's no chance. There's no shot.
How
And
old is
113
CD?
rushing yards.
25.
I'm sorry, there is no shot. CD's worst year is 74 catches, 935 yards, and 5 touchdowns. That is nearly as good as T. Higgins' best year.
Yeah, but he gets a number. He's a number 1. He gets all the options, and you're going with Jamar Chase. So if you give him those numbers, you give him 162 balls in a year. My boy at least gonna catch
No.
one.
The reason why you have good numbers, though, on the opposite side is because you have a number 1 receiver with you. Like, so now Jamar Chase gets double bracketed, right? You're getting manned and you get the safety over top. T. Higgins should be having a better year with the type of year that Jamar Chase is having. I understand a few years ago when they had the 3 1,000-yard receivers because they had Tyler Boyd as well. It was kind of like a committee thing, but I would have thought that last year and this year T. Higgins could have a step up, right? It just hasn't happened to me. So if Patriots want to scoop him up for like maybe 20 million annual, because I know that the market for the wide receiver has increased, but y'all have I feel like a better look. Sam, what are you thinking here? Because I feel like,
because I think what Godwin's getting paid 3-year 60, so 20-year annual. But I think T is better than Godwin.
Exactly.
And so I think he's getting like, Lord, 27 to 30 a year for like 3 years. Like 90, you know what I'm saying? 90 mil, 3 year, 30 mil. I feel like he's as a wide receiver 1 to a new team.
Yeah.
he is younger. I'll say that. I think Godwin, in his defense, has had more steady production and less injury, at least, but prior to this year. But he had what out of 5 years for 1,000 receiving yards, like 4 years of over 1,000 receiving. So I will say that's the exact contract that I would compare what I would pay T. Higgins. As a matter of fact, that's comparable to what I would give.
Like Terry McLaurin is 22 mil. So I still think T's better than Terry McLaurin.
No, dude. Terry
I feel like he could have better.
Bro,
Terry McLaurin is wide receiver 1. He is wide receiver 1.
Terry's kind of nasty.
Joe Burrow has been throwing the ball to T. Higgins, bro.
He's been
Tell me the different quarterbacks that have been throwing the ball to Terry McLaurin since he started his career right now from 2019, and tell me that it's even close.
You're right.
Put Terry McLaurin with Joe Burrow. In dude, come on.
It'd be ugly.
Okay.
It'd be different. It'd be a very different situation.
You're right. Terry is kind of.
We gotta
Think
see
about
what
it.
he could do. No injuries. That's what we gotta think. For real.
Think about it. Washington Commanders QBs over the last 6 years.
Heineken, Rottensberg. Who else has
That rookie? Oh man, I forgot his name.
Simeon. Hey, with some other bums. Yeah, man, I feel you.
Heineke, that's what I'm saying. Think about it. And Carson Wentz too. It's like, think about it, bro. So, and Terry McLaurin should be getting paid more, in my opinion.
22 million. That was a bargain for the Commanders. I see y'all.
Higgins is good too. It sounds like I'm like straight like shitting on him right now. I'm not, but like, because he is nasty. Don't get me wrong. I just don't see. It depends, actually. Let me just really quickly look at free agent wide receivers, and let me tell you what
this year for the next offseason.
Yeah.
Okay, let's get it.
Because I feel like we got to see Ayuk is going to be on there, but he's coming off injury, right?
Yep.
No, he signed a deal. No, he signed a deal.
Did he resign? Oh yeah, they did re-sign him. You're right.
And then he got hurt. That's why you don't be signing these suckers. That's why nobody want to pay nobody.
Same thing with Chris Godwin. Same thing with Chris Godwin.
Same. There's only a few guys that I pay guaranteed money. Evans, I'd pay Chase, I'd pay Jet, I'd pay Devontae. You know what I mean? I'd pay McCurran. There's only a couple guys. I pay Bowers now.
Stephon Diggs is a free agent.
That's tough though, because Diggs is coming off of ACL. Cooper is the one on that list, but he's getting older. So it's a bad market.
Yeah.
T. Higgins is going to be the number one, and he's lucky that he's going
in this situation. Yeah,
during this year, because you got Amari Cooper, Chris Godwin, but Godwin is locked up. I think
out of the group, he's the youngest. T. Higgins.
Yeah, Hollywood Brown, who's coming off his injury, and we haven't seen him, but who's coming back for the Chiefs, so might actually help you boys out.
Listen, I'm thinking you bring T. Higgins to the Patriots. We draft Travis Hunter. We got Hunter and Higgins, baby. H&H, baby. H&H.
I'm down. The Patriots have 130 million cap space this year, so I would be down for them. Maybe like if it has to be 3 years, 80 million, then fine. You guys have convinced me here. 50 million guaranteed.
Man,
but that's it. I'm sorry.
Gotta give him a little sun. You know what I'm saying? Gotta get a little sun.
Yeah.
T. Higgins. But talking about stars, guys, what do you guys think about the Jet stars like Garrett Wilson, Brees? You got, Sauce Gardner. What do you guys think about these guys?
I think Garrett's leaving if Aaron Rodgers is still on that team. I tell you that right now. I think he's dipping out.
I read a report about that.
Really?
That Garrett Wilson might ask for a trade if Aaron Rodgers comes back.
Wow. So that team has to Brees Hall is great too, in my opinion, and as a running back.
He's a decent running back. He definitely was doing his thing. They had so much potential. They traded for Hassan Reddick. He ain't play. There's so many situations, I think, with the Jets that it's just a blow up of a year. I'm just like, come on, guys, get it together.
I mean,
it's going to be tough. I mean, Devontae's under contract through 2026.
Mm-hmm. Brees is signed to next year too. After next year.
Yep.
I mean, you gotta give him a chance. I feel like you can't really blame him for kind of like what's been going on. He's got one more year in the rookie contract.
Yeah.
But then don't you have the rights if you're a rookie? You have the rights to the re-signing or whatever, like, because you can still you can franchise tag as well if you must. It might not be worth it for them to try to keep it. I mean, this all comes down to if Aaron Rodgers is going to play another year. Right. I really think that the moves right now are all going to come down to Aaron Rodgers' decision. If I'm Garrett Wilson, I'm asking for a trade if Aaron Rodgers comes back.
Me too.
I'm out. In a second. Excuse me, I'm out.
Maybe Garrett Wilson will come play and he'll stay in the division. But you never like if someone's forcing a trade with someone from your own division. But I'm sure Drake May would love a Garrett Wilson. I mean, a true number one. Garrett Wilson, I think, had the catch of the year still. That catch that he made, y'all remember that crazy one-hander? I think that was during that Texans game, actually.
Yep.
Sam, I'll send it to you later. I saw
He
like
should win that award. He should definitely win that award.
Catch of the year.
I think that was the nastiest catch of the year that I can remember off the top of my head, but maybe there's a couple that I'm forgetting right now.
He definitely should win that for sure.
Sauce Gardner sucks too because he was drafted there, so he's not gonna have no rights to get out of there either, right?
Leave.
Oh, not at all. Not at all.
I'm watching it right now, guys.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Ugly, right?
Yeah.
I'm saying ugly. Ugly.
How did he put his other foot down? What?
No, it's unreal, right?
Wow.
Was it against the Houston?
The Texans, yep. It was a Thursday night football game.
Yeah, crazy. That was crazy.
Oh, that's kind of crazy.
Listen. Dude, speaking of awards, talking about that catch of the year, what are we thinking about these NFL awards? We got the rookie defensive player of the year.
Let's get it.
And I'm really thinking Cooper DeJean is looking crazy on the Eagles, man. He's been locking people down. He's been getting this money for a rookie. He's really made sure that back end is where it needs to be. You know, looking at this list, we got a couple corners, couple linebackers. Are we thinking Cooper takes this over for the defensive rookie of the year in the NFC? What are we talking?
I mean, the odds are not in his favor, but like a white boy to be as a DB to be that high up, sheesh. But no, my guy Cooper, thank you, because we know what they say about white guys playing DB. That's not usually ain't the picture, but Jared Verse has been nasty. There's another player as well in the Rams. They drafted a defensive tackle who's been nasty as well. They love giving awards, I feel like, to linebackers or defensive ends, like for defensive awards. So it's tough. Who's been the best defensive rookie in the NFL? I don't think no one stamped it for me. I know the odds, like I'm looking at the Vegas odds right now. It does look like Jared Verse is kind of like a shoe-in, but I can't. I'm to being straightforward with y'all. This is on the list of awards from this year. It's the one that's like the least gripping to me. It's the one that ain't really. I don't have a huge feeling about this one.
It's interesting to me that Deshaun and Kenyon, both on the Eagles, are both in the top 5 in terms of rookies of the year. I think they both have been playing phenomenal. I think it really has been seeing what these defensive backs have been able to translate in the league coming from college. I'm really excited about Travis Hunter. Patriots, if you're hearing me, please just take him on that number 1 pick. You're not going to be disappointed. But yeah, I mean, looking at that, obviously, it's not too crazy. I think the big one that we're really, really looking at, especially in terms of, player of the year or even rookie of the year, is in the NFC. You know what I mean? Or that offensive rookie of the year award. I think we got some really, really big names that really coming up. Guys, I'm going to pick my guy real quick, and he plays in the AFC West, Bo Nix. I don't know. Like I said, I don't know where this guy came from. I don't know what this man was doing, but he's kind of nasty. Especially if he leads his team to the playoffs. I think it was unexpected. So, what do we think? We got a couple big names on there. Mikey, what are you thinking? What are you thinking?
For rookie offensive player of the year, I've been saying this for a hot minute that, take a handle Jaden Daniels on the rookie of the year.
Take a handle Jaden Daniels.
I think that he's all but sealed it, just like a quarterback who once played for the Washington Redskins, who had an incredible rookie year and led his team to the playoffs, but got that knee blown out and kind of never was the same after that, RG3. I think Jaden Daniels is just nasty. I think he's smart with the ball. I think he's Lamar Jackson-esque the way he run. I think he got poise in the pocket. In the pocket, he's throwing the ball like CJ Stroud did last year, but on the feet, he looks like Lamar. So it's, to me, I actually think that he's kind of like run away with this one, but Brock Bowers has broken a lot of records as a rookie. Receptions, yards, he has been really, really nasty. And imagine if he had like a really, really good quarterback thrown to him.
Dude, him and Malik Neighbors have been going crazy in terms of the receptions. You're figuring out who's going back to back. And I don't know what it was coming out of college, that a lot of people didn't think that this man would really translate to the league. He is blowing it up. He might be one of those tight ends that really transcends, and you might hear him in the Kelseys or the Gonzalez's, you know what I mean, or the
He's like that.
Gronks.
He reminds me of that Laporta season when he had like a season when he went nuts,
Nuts.
and like kind of reminds me of that where another tight end kind of comes up to the NFL and just blowing it up here too.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I'm kind of agreeing with that Mikey side with that Jaden Daniel. This guy, a rookie, lighting it up 11-5 for the Washington Commanders, and he's what 3,500 yards as a rookie. I like Bo Nix too, but I'm kind of leaning towards that that Jaden. He's pretty good.
Bo
pretty
Nix
good.
has had a great year. Don't get me wrong. I think
Facts.
Bo Nix deserves some respect. Sean Payton's a great coach and understands how to work with quarterbacks. So I think we got to say that. But there's been some great players. I mean, shout out to someone was shouting him out earlier. It might have been you, Camden, about Bucky Irvin. I mean, Bucky Irving's one of the first rookies I can imagine with a 1,000-yard rushing season in a minute. Because I feel like when you had Zeke came in, it felt like every year after Zeke, a rookie came in and was like nasty running back, like well over 1,000 yards. But I feel like last year, I can't even remember if we had a 1,000-yard rushing rookie. And you got to get, I say I'll put some respect on his name. I don't think he's going to win this award, but I want to put some respect and acknowledgement for him.
I agree.
Yeah, this is a fun award compared to like the defensive part where I felt like there wasn't like a runaway there where I felt like there's star power. Jaden Daniels, Brock Bowers, Bo Nix, Malik Neighbors, great players. So, I'll be happy with whoever they award that
Great
one to.
rookies that join NFL, huh? Like those offensive pieces are nice. Like if you
Mhm.
build a team over them too, it's nice.
And you think about if Brock and Malik had decent quarterbacks, what they would look like in their first years coming as rookies. I think that's something that needs to be said. Even the fact that they're on this list is amazing. I mean, one star-studded category that I have to say is I think to me, there's a lot of guys on this list who should win this. NFL Coach of the Year, guys. I mean, you got two guys who weren't in the league last year, who didn't coach, who are bringing their teams to the playoffs. You got another guy that's transformed his team and over the last couple of years. They're going crazy. You got the GOAT, Andy Reid, 14-1, might be 14-2 in this past weekend. This dude is playing with JV players 90% of the time. His number one wide receiver is gone. His number one running back is gone. All these guys. And you got Mike Tomlin, who has transformed Russell Wilson into an elite quarterback. I'm looking at this list, guys, and I'm just blown away because a lot of these guys really deserve it.
Yeah, I mean, I think Dan Campbell would have a better argument if he didn't just come off getting one, right? So he said the Lions are having a great year. I think it comes down to the two highest odds here, which is Kevin O'Connell. Come on, JJ McCarthy goes down. You have Sam Darnold come in, and to have an incredible year with these sort of expectations, it's like I really, really feel it's got to go to Kevin O'Connell, even if he doesn't win. Unless they get blown out in like emphatic fashion, if it's a relatively close game, Kevin O'Connell deserves it for what the Minnesota Vikings have done and with what Sam Darnold has become. I think it's only right. Now, Andy Reid, you're right. He does deserve some respect. I would say the person I'm most surprised, actually, who's a great coach and super young, not even 40 yet, is Sean McVay, who has taken the Rams, who I felt like weren't really, if in my mind, the Rams was third most likely to win their division, right? I felt like San Francisco was the obvious favorite with Seattle as second and the Rams as the third, then Cardinals. I'm really impressed with the year that the Rams have had. So I don't think he should win the Coach of the Year award, but I really am impressed with that year. You also said Mike Tomlin, and Mike Tomlin never be having a losing record. So Mr. Never Had a Losing Record continues.
Listen.
I do agree with that, Mike Tomlin. I mean, like, yeah, he never had like a losing season, but like, his team hasn't gone anywhere. But like to have this impact now in this 2024 season, the Steelers have definitely proved themselves, and also Mike Tomlin also another prove himself moment. But you know what I'm saying? I gotta give it to my boy Nick Sirianni, guys. I know that we have octane people and we got some star powers in our team, but come on now. We fought hard this whole season. I feel like that centerpiece, that head coach is such a very vital piece to that team, and I'm just shocked that he wasn't even in the candidates, guys, in this coach of the year. So I'm just gonna give a shout out to Nick Sirianni.
It's kind of tough when me and Sirianni would have the same game plan, which is hand it to Saquon. I'm just saying, not to say that Sirianni is not a great coach, but I think me and Mikey would know. Listen, Saquon, we're gonna hand it to you on first down. We're gonna see what you get. Maybe on second down, maybe even on third down. But listen, it's very easy when you have considerably, in my opinion, the one of the greatest running back of our generation right now playing. So, we'll see. We'll see what happens. But guys, this is an award that I really feel like is extremely controversial. The Comeback Player of the Year award. In my opinion, like we were talking about earlier, Sam Darnold looks great. Looks like honestly could be, someone that's honestly transcending the league, and especially in these next couple of years after his situation in San Francisco. How do we feel about the fact that you have to be coming off of an injury in order to be mainly considered for this award? How are we feeling about that? I feel like that's a little suspect in my opinion.
I do agree with that. But Sam Darnold, though, you got to give it to this guy. He was a backup quarterback, San Francisco 49ers last year, played 10 games, but able to show that he is him right now with these Vikings and fighting for that NFC number 1 spot. I mean, you're going from 49ers were a great team last year, playoff team. But going from that as a backup quarterback and then now trying to be the number 1 yourself, I'm giving it to Sam Darnold. I'm giving it to Sam Darnold for my comeback player of the year. But yeah, I do agree that it should be more based on not from the injuries, but more from the stats point of view. More from you were a backup type last year, and now you have an opportunity to play a starting quarterback role, and you succeed and flourish from that. Then I'll give that award to you, which that is Sam Darnold, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, the criteria for the award is not exactly well stated or precise. I mean, it can be if you have adversity or whether it was a bad season the previous year or an injury you're coming back from. So we have to take that into account. The most recent winner is Joe Flacco, right? He was not coming off an injury. He came in last year and had that nasty run for the Browns and brought the Browns to the playoffs. Right. So we need to think about the criteria is not very clear to me. So Burrow is coming off of obviously an injury. Right. And now having a year that most likely could be deemed an MVP year had he had 2 or 3 more wins this year. Instead of sitting on 8 wins, if he was sitting on 10, 11 wins right now, going for 12, he would be MVP to me. I mean, with the way he's been playing. I personally agree that Sam Darnold fits the criteria that I subjectively create in my own mind. Sam Darnold fits it. Yeah. He's had a great year, but sometimes people like the storyline of it all. So coming into this year, a lot of people thought Aaron Rodgers was going to be comeback player of the year, right? Or DeMar Hamlin. Right. If you look back, there was a award. Eric Berry won this. He's a safety for the Kansas City Chiefs. And remember, Eric Berry had cancer and he had to have his treatment, and he came back, and he's nasty too, like a Pro Bowl, all pro caliber. So had DeMar Hamlin had a relatively strong season, it probably would have been taken into account. I think they love to give it to a quarterback, right? The last person who won this award who was not a quarterback was Keenan Allen in 2017, who came off an injury. So for me, this is going to go to Joe Burrow because of how nasty his year has been and the fact that he's come off an injury. But I feel like Sam Darnold deserves it more in the sense of we discounted him.
Yeah.
No one
Yeah.
ever discounted Burrow. He just got injured, right?
But we always know he's coming back. Yeah,
Exactly. No one ever discounted him. Like, who's coming back from adversity right now?
facts.
Yeah. It's true. That's true. I mean, guys. I mean, this next award. Oh my gosh. Like, defensive player of the year. We got T.J. Watt. We got Myles Garrett. We got Trey Hendrickson. What? Daniel Hunter. I mean, guys, these are some boys that I would never want to see in an alley. That is the number one truth right there, 100%. These some big men who are going after the quarterback. T.J. Watt, dude. Oh my goodness, this man is just unbelievable. I think J.J. was great. T.J. is even better, and he just keeps doing this year after year after year. And Pittsburgh is still doing something, which is crazy to me. I don't know, guys. This is a huge award. This is a huge award. I mean, I love Miles. Miles looks great, but obviously, if your team's not in the playoffs and not winning, what are we doing? Surtain, I think it's more Bo Nix doing it than it is Surtain, but hey, it is what it is. But yeah, I'm thinking, what are we thinking? T.J. Watt? TJ taking it?
He should be the favorite because they like to award this to pass rushers like frequently. So it's like I feel like Micah Parsons was like the favorite coming into the year to win this award, and that's because they love pass rushers. We love stats, you know what I mean? So it wasn't except back to Stephon Gilmore's All-Pro year that cornerback won this. But if there was a year that someone could do it, Patrick Surtain has had an absolutely nasty year, right? If you wanted to, if you was cold and you needed a blanket, you could and you ran into Patrick Surtain, then you'd be all good because that boy is with you. Whoever he plays, he only has 4 interceptions on the year, but stats don't always tell the whole story, right?
Right.
TJ Watt has 11 and a half sacks, right? I think Myles Garrett has more than that right now, but TJ Watt be getting double teamed and TJ Watt be disrupting, so you got to get rid of the ball faster. I really am not gonna lie. I would actually prefer Patrick Surtain to win this award. From the football I've like watched a game,
Yeah.
and I watched the wide receiver get blanketed by Patrick Surtain. That's who I would personally, if I had to vote first place, I will go Patrick Surtain and second place TJ Watt.
Okay.
But they like to give it to pass rushers, man. A sack is just it happens more frequently, and hitting the quarterback, it's more visually appealing, I feel like, to people.
Yeah. Sam, what are you thinking?
I'm going classic, guys. I'm going to the T.J. Watt.
He said, "I'm taking it." Easy.
And I
He
feel
said,
like the eye popping stat is the forced fumbles, leading the league with forced fumble with 6. So I feel like, I mean, we all know that T.J. Watt, he's a defensive prowess. His presence is felt wherever he goes. So this DPOY, I'm going this, and Steelers were having a great year this year. So I'm going the classic T.J. Watt, baby, my DPOY this year.
Okay. Listen, one award that I know, Sam, I know you're extremely looking forward to.
Yes, sir.
The NFL Offensive Player of the Year. I think we're all in agreement, unless something crazy happens. Saquon, I think, is taking it. Is it just me? Am I the only one that
check
believes
me in too? You gotta check me in too.
that this man 2K Saquon 2K is just really about that life? Because he has shown that he is the best player on the Philadelphia Eagles and is the best running back in the league.
Big props to Jamar Chase with that triple crown, but I'm going Saquon 2K, everybody, with my offensive. Check.
I've been saying this since I think week 1 of us starting our podcast that it was very likely that at the rate that Saquon was playing, should he sustain that rate, he should win Offensive Player of the Year, if not MVP or both.
Right.
And we know they're not going to give the MVP to him because that's just how the voters do. They're going to give it to a quarterback. Saquon Barkley is without a doubt the Offensive Player of the Year in the NFL. Give him the award right now. King Henry though deserves some respect for the fact that he's also like pushing a 2,000 yard season and been as successful because people thought he was old. Oh, is he even going to be that nice with the Ravens?
Right.
But like y'all said, Jamar Chase as well, triple crown. You got to put some respect on that. But there's no doubt if you have a 2,000 yard rushing season and there's been like what 10 of them, not even
Exactly.
that in the history of the NFL,
Take
the
it.
award's done. The award's done.
Unanimous. Three
Take
of
it.
three. Let's
Saquon
go.
Barkley is the offensive player of the year.
Yes,
For
sir.
sure.
And honestly, if Superman wasn't Superman this year, I feel like it would have been closer than it is on this next one. That's just me. But Saquon's taking this. Listen, the biggest, the baddest, the number one, the Don Dada, the MVP. Listen, I love Superman. Okay? Josh Allen has been one of my favorite quarterbacks to watch, even though I'm a Pats fan, because he's been kicking my behind. But Action Jackson, Mr. Jackson, is on a better tear than he has been on his previous two MVPs. And I'm a little nervous that the voters are going to say, listen, look at Action Jackson. He might do something. He might do something. I mean, how are we feeling? We got a lot of big names in here. We got Joe Burrow. We obviously got Saquon, but I think it's a two-man race. It's between Mr. Jackson and Superman himself. So
This is going to be the most like debated one for sure.
Okay.
I mean, the problem is they gave it to Lamar last year and the stats wasn't crazy. And now he's having a much better statistical year this year than Josh Allen. But they went and gave it to him last year, and the criteria was that, oh, well, Baltimore's the number one seed and they're winning, and he's taking care of the ball more this year than when he won his previous MVP. Okay, well, now that you've adjusted the criteria, I'm sorry, Josh Allen deserves it because it ain't going to go to, unfortunately, it's not going to go to the two quarterbacks earlier that I think should be taken more into consideration for this, Jared Goff and Sam Darnold. I mean, if anything, if I was being frank with you, Joe Burrow has had, if we're looking at statistics as a quarterback, right? Joe Burrow should be right there as well. Because Joe Burrow is leading the league in passing. He's leading the league in passing touchdowns, and he's not throwing interceptions. But Lamar Jackson's legs are unreal. Dude's almost going to have 1,000-yard rushing season, right? And he's throwing it like Tom Brady or Aaron Rodgers would in one. You know what I mean?
in the same year, I mean, is he going to have 4,000 yards throwing the ball this year? Like, that's the thing that's insane to me is like this man is close to 4,000 and he's going to be close to a bando when it comes to the ground. Like,
Yeah.
that just changes the trajectory of any. I think there's like what over 30 touchdowns thrown and like maybe like 6 or 5. So it's like you're accounting for over 36 touchdowns at the end of the day. Like this dude is nasty. But again, like this is another year where like I think like when we're older, we're gonna be looking back and be like, oh wow, like Josh Allen versus Lamar. But we're gonna look at the footage of what Josh Allen did, and I think him winning the MVP is gonna be justified. The guy did some stuff. I think Mikey, I think there was some trade that happened with their wide receiver. Who did they get rid of? My memory's just a little bit jogged.
They picked up Amari Cooper, but obviously their number one offensive receiver and offensive weapon was Stephon Diggs.
Exactly.
So I mean, we have to take into account the cast around you, right, Sam? Like if you're like Saquon is nasty, but he has a lot of offensive weapons around him, like AJ Brown and Devontae Smith and Jalen Hurts. So it's harder to say like, okay, like should you be given this award when Lamar was doing it with just Rashad Bateman, right? And just like a Zay Flowers just drafted, right? Now you're talking about Zay Flowers developing more. Speed Demon. We're talking about y'all had Hollywood Brown. We're talking about Now you also have Mark. You Ben had Mark Andrews now, and of course he come off his injury, but now back into the mix. You went and traded for Deontay Johnson, even though it didn't pan out. Like you're presenting all of these weapons. You went and got King Henry, who is damn near is more of odds-on favorite to win the Offensive Player of the Year than Lamar Jackson himself. So how can we? Yeah, James Cook has had a good year, but like come on, man. Like the Bills, he's throwing to Khalil Shakir and Keon Coleman and Dawson Knox before you traded for Amari Cooper. Like the dude's just you got to give it to him this year. I'm sorry.
He's really looking like Tom Brady. Like that's what I'm gotta tell you. Like he's really looking like I am doing more with less than I've ever seen, and I think that's where to me seeing the footage of Josh Allen, I think obviously we're going to look at the stats, look at the numbers, but when you really watch his games, this man looks like Superman and he's playing out of his mind. And I think what you said before with Stephon leaving, I really think it changes his mentality where he doesn't have to force feed anybody and he can just play free. And so I'm really excited to see what he's going to do next year. Obviously, I'm excited about what he's going to do in the playoffs, but yeah, man, when it comes to Josh Allen, he's just lit. So
Sam, should the record be taken into account, Sam, do you think? Like the team record?
MVP?
Yeah, for MVP?
No. I feel like we should be fair in terms of cuz I don't know. I say no. Cuz when you even go to the NBA when Russ won Triple Crown, you know what I mean? It wasn't the team record, it was more like personal accolade. But in terms of personal,
it should go to my boy Mahomes. If we're talking about the record, you feel me? But if we're talking about a record and some stats, you got to give it to the king. I think my boy Superman is.
I'd love to see a complete sweep for Saquon to win MVP. I know that Dickerson didn't win MVP when he got his record, but I know that out of the 7 running backs that hit 2K, 4 of them won MVP. So it'll be cool to see like the Offensive Player of the Year and MVP go to Saquon. But if I want to be like more realistic here, as a stats guy, I'm going Lamar Jackson. I mean, this man can do everything, right? He can run, he can throw. So the thing is, like, he did win it last year, and we talked about how the stats like this year it's even better. But it'd be kind of cool to see a back-to-back MVP too. Not gonna lie, that'd be a cool sight to see in the NFL.
It'd be terrible. For real.
Yeah. I will say one quarterback among the two that we've discussed has defeated the number 1 seed in both conferences. So, yeah. I mean, we've talked about it before, David. Like, who does Buffalo play? Who did they play? Well, there's one team in the league who's beaten the current number 1 seeds in both conferences, and that Josh Allen plays for that team. So,
and that's why I think he should get the MVP.
Ever so slightly over Lamar, I would give my vote to Josh Allen, but it's just because of how the voting has played out in recent years.
Nice. We got crazy predictions, guys. Some of these awards getting chosen by our picks would be crazy. That'd be cool to see.
It's an interesting one. So, damn, I can't believe, guys, we already made it to week 18.
I know. The last week of football is coming up.
Man, it's gonna be an exciting weekend. I'm really, really excited. We'll see what happens. That number 1 seed is gonna be up for grabs.
Yep, it definitely is.
Yeah, we're gonna have to stay in tune. Just so y'all know, 8:20 p.m. on Sunday night on NBC and on Peacock. Minnesota Vikings at Detroit Lions. That's the game, guys. Let's see it. One last thought. I mean, I know as we wrapped up, because we kind of touched on everything here.
Yeah.
When we're talking about the projected draft order, this is the last thing I want to say.
NFL, yes.
Projected 2025 NFL draft order, right? Right now, the power is in the New England Patriots and the Cleveland Browns, right? Sitting there. And then you have the Tennessee Titans and the New York Giants as all 3 wins and 13 losses. Gerard Mayo, the first-year coach for the New England Patriots, has stated that if people are good to go and healthy to play, they are going to play to win. Me, personally, I'm I'm looking at it like, bro, let's get the number 1 pick. Let's just like, why? I don't see a point. I know that you have to say you're going to try to win because you can't tank. But at this point, I would love to just see us get this first pick. Let's just lose this game. We get the first overall pick. We know we have a good quarterback to play with, and we'll take it from there.
Travis Hunter?
Could be.
Could be. I understand. I understand what you're saying, Mikey. Like obviously my New England Patriots, you know what I mean, having the number 1 pick this year, it's devastating because of the fact that obviously we want our team to do well. We want us not to have the number 1 pick. But you can have a lot of leverage, a ton of leverage with the number 1 pick. Yeah. You could go back 1 spot and get 2 second-rounders for the next 2 years and a first-round pick. Like,
yes.
I think that's where I'm kind of looking at everything. Like, we could get Travis Hunter and have our cake and eat it too. Like, there's a very high possibility. So, in my opinion, I think if I would not, if I was Kraft, if I was Mayo, I'd go to Kraft and say, listen, in front of the media, I'm gonna pretend like we're gonna try to win. I'm gonna get that number 1. And we're going to leverage that, do some stuff. And I understand that I had a bad season, but give me a couple more weapons and let me see what I can do instead of them coming from my head top the first year. So that's my GM hat. I know I'm with the 2 greatest GMs, you know what I mean, in the history of the game on this podcast. I'm just a regular player. But if I had some power and I was in charge of the finances, I'd be definitely doing that for sure. Because that number 1 pick is extremely valuable. We always know what San Francisco did and mortgage their future for that pick. So I'm just saying.
That's spicy. Damn. All right, guys. RCR Presents MSD Sports. You got YBK, you got Mikey, and you got Camden over here. Episode 7, and you already know we coming with episode 8 very, very soon, everybody. Yes, sir. And don't forget, we in now Apple Podcast too, everybody. MSD Sports, Apple. Give it a nice little search over here. And we in Spotify, now Apple Podcast, on YouTube at MSD Sports. And don't forget, I go by YBK up in here. Mikey go by Michael DeStefano. And we got Mr. Club Paradise, David. Let's go. See you guys.
Peace.
Good night, y'all. Happy to be back. 2025 is our year, baby.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, what it is, baby. Cannon League. Let's get it.